Recording in progress.
Aloha and welcome to Our Path to Infinite Abundance, Food Forestry. And I'm here to talk with you today about a new opportunity that you have to learn how to grow a food forest near you through this online course that I have created for you called Food Forest University. Why do I call it Food Forest University? Because a forest is a unified unit of biodiversity. So it's unified, it's biodiverse, it's a university. And also, a university is a place to come and learn, right? And where we can all learn and share and grow together. So, a food forest is basically a community of widely diverse species working as a unified system to grow food for each other and us humans. So, we're not associated with any public or private university. We're a community of food forest co-creators using ClickSlow as our learning management system and hosting system to provide people with a safe and fun place to learn how to grow food forests in their yards and communities. And what's extra special about doing it online is we can help people around the world, which is so fun. So I'm really excited to be offering this course. I'm doing a grand opening of the new course hosting platform on ClickSlow, offering multiple courses. There's the 8-step path to creating a food forest and how to create hair care products, skin care products, house cleaning and fertilizer, eco enzyme products, and a few other courses, and there will be more courses coming up over time. But the main course that I want everyone to be able to learn is how to grow a food forest. And I teach this in 8 steps, which I have been um, uh, I've been taking all my notes and observations since I moved here to this food forest. I'd say starting at the beginning of 2012 when I really started actively planting it uh, and taking all the action and observations of what's going on around here. So I've been recording things on video, recording things on notes, paper and pen, audio for all these years. So this is like 11 years now that I've been taking notes, studying, writing. I've written 2 books about it. The first book was in 2019, the book called Our Path to Infinite Abundance, Introduction to Food Forests. And the second book was in 2022, which is called The 8-Step Path to Creating a Food Forest, Step into Nature's Infinite Abundance. So those are fun books. And I also wanted to be able to offer this online course because online courses are so fun. I love taking online courses too. So I believe I said we're not associated with any public or private university. We're on ClickSlow. So let's get into it. A food forest is a small or large home garden designed like a wild forest in that all life forms are part of the community. And these biodiverse ecosystems abundantly produce a wide variety of foods year round. I believe this is the way they grew the Amazon rainforest. They grew plants of all heights and sizes all together in that long-lasting forest, and it is still alive today. And how do we know that people grew it? Because they used LIDAR, which is like a radar that can go underground, and they saw that there were communities under there. And then somehow those communities got buried in mud, but there are many life forms still growing there. And the food forest can last for thousands of years. Jeff Lawton found a food forest on an island in I forget which island it is, but somewhere on the other side of the world, not in America, but somewhere, I forget. Um, but anyway, it was a 2,000-year-old food forest. So what I've loved about this food forest that I moved to 11 years ago is that it was started the year I was born. Well, there was an oak tree that's even older than me, but then a gardener, a family came along and built this house in 1961 and planted the original citrus trees and some nut trees. And those trees are still here all these years later, which is 62 years later. We're still pulling the most delicious fruits and nuts off of these trees. And plus the whole yard was kind of left alone for a while, and that showed me when I arrived here that there had been no gardener really taken care of or planting. But this these trees were still alive, they were still growing, they were still in community with the birds and with the the naturalized plants that grow around them. So even though I was a lifelong gardener when I got here, I learned so many new things, things that I learned only from the garden, not from textbooks or colleges. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this garden just taught a special lesson and a bunch of special lessons. And so those are the lessons that I have recorded and that I want to impart to you. And so you can grow a food forest in a small or large home garden, like a backyard, a front yard, or you can have a larger space. And you would just, what we will be learning how to do is to imitate a wild forest. So the difference is that you get to choose what grows in your food forest. You can plant the trees that you love that grow well in your area, plant the shrubs, plant all the lower layers of herbs and flowers and root vegetables, all of those things that you love, and we'll be stacking them in height. So where we can share your smaller garden space with more plants because we have some taller, some middle, and some lower plants growing all together. You could even imitate this in a big pot with a tree and some vines hanging over it, some little herbs next to the tree if you were on a patio. But ideally, you're going to be planting this in the soil. And the reason that we want to plant in straight into the soil, not in a box or a metal bin or something like that, if we can, is so that our plants can get in touch with the soil life forms, the fungi, worms, insects, and microbes that all have their roles to play in the healthy ecosystem of a natural garden. So while they're doing that, the sunlight catching leaves of plants are not only catching the sunlight, that energy that they turn into sugars and usable carbohydrates for us and for all life. Um, but they also, the leaves can clean the air by catching dust. And then when water flows, from rainwater, it washes that down. All of that dust gets washed down into the soil, and down in the soil is where the soil dwellers, like the fungi, can take dust particles of heavy metals or even radiation, and they can transform those particles into smaller and smaller particles that are usable by the plants, and the plants can uptake that dust and that water and create new life with it. So it's an amazingly designed, beautiful system. And it's all because of the biodiversity in the system. So, yes, even the animals work in the garden. They can plant seeds either so I've seen many trees planted by the crows where they take a pecan and drop it, and all of a sudden in a place that I didn't plant it a pecan tree starts growing, or various other kinds of plants. I have found so many useful and helpful herbs and trees growing, little baby saplings. I see macadamia trees growing under the macadamia tree too. So there's all of this new life that keeps popping up. And the animals are also nice to have in the garden, as when even if a bunny eats some of the herbs in the garden, the bunny poop is coming out onto the soil, and that is a great fertilizer. Um, Not that we want to have the bunnies eating all the food all the time, but we have so much food in the food forest that if we do have some bunnies nibbling, it doesn't seem to diminish the abundance, because they'll nibble the leaves, poop out some nice fertilizer, and the plant keeps making more leaves, especially some of these like our Swiss chards and our collards that keep growing, spinaches. A lot of these plants, a bunny can just nibble on it and it doesn't even kill it. So it's really fun to see how the cooperation works between all the life forms. And that this is the biggest difference between the food forest and other gardens. And one of the nicest benefits for us humans is when plants are growing in living soil, we get vibrant, nutrient-dense, ongoing streams of fruits, nuts, veggies, and herbs, many of which we don't even have to plant because they plant themselves, they propagate themselves. We initially plant things or add seeds into the garden, but soon they naturalize, and then we just flow with them and they keep growing. So this is kind of a fun thing. I don't know if you've heard about the latest physics findings with Nassim Haramein, but we are part of like a big mathematical system, and he calls it a holographic fractal system. So ourselves and the plants and the animals and the fungi and the food forest systems are holographic fractals of the universal creation. And the way I've come to see it over these past years of living in a food forest, that we humans are designed to live in and manage food forest gardens. And there's some great evidences that I have of that I'll share with you in the course. But it's really fun living in a garden where instead of having to put out pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides, and fungicides, and all these chemical sprays and powders, and all these kind of things that we do to work and effort so hard until, instead of doing all that, we are allowing the soil biota to provide that authentic plant food that lab-made chemical compounds are trying to duplicate. But when we encourage life and tap into its inherent stream of infinite abundance, we have the most natural, most fluid, most abundant gardens of all. And you can grow food forests in virtually any climate on Earth. Sepp Holzer grew a food forest in an alpine mountaintop in Austria. Jeff Lawton and others grow them in the deserts of the Middle East. And many people around the world grow them. And those of us who don't know about food forests, we can adapt this method of growing wherever we live. So in this course, Food Forest University, you'll learn to plan a garden that grows in your area so you can have access to nutrient-dense produce practically for free. Many of the weeds in your garden may be edible and useful already. So because we need a fresh approach to eating food and supplying food to our families and our communities, this course is an answer that provides us with ongoing streams of food, medicine, and craft supplies right from our yards. So you'll begin to leverage the power of nature's infinite abundance in this guided 8-step path to creating a food forest and creating ongoing streams of nutrient-dense fruit, veggies, herbs, flowers, and craft supplies. And we also will be learning to create healthy hair and body care products, household cleaning products that are safe for nature, fertilizers that are safe to use in nature, that come from nature, even pain relief tinctures and ideas, all kinds of different things that plants can do. We'll be studying those and learning how to do all of that to do all the things that go along with having a food forest. Storing water in your soil is one of those. So I'm excited to share food forestry with you because it requires much less effort and much less growing space. And it benefits the earth's soils, air, water, and wildlife, as well as us and future generations of human beings. So food forests, they're just the most exciting way to grow food, the easiest way to grow food. And yeah, so these courses are developed after I have written the books, Our Path to Infinite Abundance, Introduction to Food Forests, which you can get as a free ebook, and you may have already got that book. And also the 8-step path to creating a food forest. That's also available in book form on Amazon by me, Tutu Sainz. And so, but this is also a fun opportunity to learn how to grow a food forest this way. And the first inspiration that I came across for writing the book, Our Path to Infinite Abundance, was not only noticing fruits and nuts from these decades-old fruit trees, and they were delicious fruits and wonderful nuts, but I noticed that when I planted one seed, within 3 to 6 months, I ended up with 1,000 seeds of that same plant at the end of just that one season. So I've been a bookkeeper for 35 years, and I know the return on investment formula, how to calculate return on investment, and which I share that in my book. But bottom line, you get a return of 999% in only 3 to 6 months by planting a seed and letting that plant, that little annual plant like a lettuce or a carrot, grow into flower and into seeding. Then you have 1,000 seeds. So that, if you imagine how you could take those 1,000 seeds and plant more plants and more plants, the return on investment approaches infinity over time. So you can't get this kind of return on investment anywhere else on the planet. It's just amazing. And I think it's only available here on Earth, folks. So not only do food forests grow many foods in a small space because the communities grow together in layers based on their heights, and there's a level for every plant. But the word food forest sounds like food for us. I like to say that out loud. Food forest, food for us. Yay! So, my friend, your food forest is waiting for you to plant and grow something you love. Every time you eat your free food instead of buying food from the grocery store or restaurant, you're going to save money, and it adds up to substantial savings. Food forests save water too by storing water underground and by being very low water use gardens. So now is the ideal time to take your journey to infinite abundance with Food Forest University. You'll have access to this online course from any device at any time. You can ask questions and make comments and get a response from me throughout the course. Once you learn these steps, you will know how to create food forests and help others create food forests. So this course, along with the other augmentary courses that I made available in this session, you are going to be gaining your food freedom, health freedom, and financial freedom. So if you would like to take the course's full price is $144 for a year of admission into the school. If you're totally broke and you cannot afford anything, I have a coupon code for you in the link below. I also have another coupon code if you want to take off 1/3 of the price, or if you want to take off 1/2 of the price. And I just ask you to pay what you can afford and what feels right for you. So click the button below, which takes you through the checkout process, and the Click Slow system will email your receipt. And in a separate email, the Click Slow system will send your username and password to your account, along with a redirect link to get you into the course. So to get instant access, click the button below and go through the checkout process. I look forward to guiding you through your journey to growing an infinitely abundant food forest garden. I'll see you inside.